Hey everybody, hope y'all all doing well. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm sitting on the back porch. It just finished raining, having me a cup of coffee. I hadn't had one yet today, so I figured I would pre-record this video for Tuesday, and we can start doing some Testimony Tuesdays where I'll give you a little testimonies of things God has done in my life to show you who He is. I know in one of my previous videos I talked about how God found me in a church, how I had a radical encounter with Him, and my life has changed and never been the same. So let's elaborate a little bit on that. So I left that night when that happened and went home, and not to get into all the story of my life, but things were going really rough for us at home. My husband and I were not getting along. We were financially strapped, so it was putting a strain on our relationship. And I'm not here to bash. I'm not whatever. We both made our mistakes in our marriage. I've had my own faults. I admit those. But I do know that God saved me. He removed me from that relationship because it continued to harm me and it wasn't prospering and growing me. And now, knowing what we're learning in Genesis about Adam and Eve and how the perfect mate is chosen for you from the minute you're created. And I do believe that my ex was not meant to be that person. I did things of my own free will. Am I regretful? No, because I wouldn't have my sons and I wouldn't be the person I am today. I took a path that led me into becoming who I am, and God's using everything, redeeming it and using it. Okay, so divorce was very hard for me. I was taught my whole life about you stick it out no matter what, which is what we do, right? In our wedding vows, we say till death do us part and all of those things. And so me getting a divorce was very, very hard for me. It took me a long time to get past it. God had to work that with me and through me, showing scripture and helping me to heal from that, because I meant it when I said it. I meant it, but it goes with both parties though. It has to be both people willing to put in the work to fight for their marriage. Okay, so I'm gonna preface in, I left my husband. God gave me strength to leave, and actually to just tell him I wanted a divorce, and he went to look for another place to live, not to move me and the kids out the home. But the place that he found, I ended up falling in love with it. It reminded me of my childhood, being at a camp on the water. It was located on the bayou, and I felt the Lord tell me to move in it. So I uprooted me and my kids, and we moved into that place. We left our family home. And I will tell you, the reason I'm saying this is my testimony is because God healed me there. He knew water, what it meant to me. He knew nature, what it meant to me. And He used it all to heal the broken parts of me. I would sit out on that wharf and have moments in the clouds with Him, with the water, with the birds. He had a set of cardinals, the couple, you know. They would come and they would sit with me. The male cardinal would sit on that birdhouse and watch me all day and just chirp and chirp. Like when I was listening to worship or the word, he would come and he would sit and he would watch over me. And he just showed me, I think that was God just showing me how much He loved me and how much He was with me, because He would come every time I was doing that. Now, I mean, if I'm outside for other reasons, not necessarily, but I mean, if I was seeking God and in the Word and listening to worship, doing anything that involved spending time with God, He was there. He was there spending time with me. My son even got a little gator that we kind of raised on the land right there. We ended up putting it in the bayou, and we called him Larry. I had blue jays that would come, y'all, like the things I would see in the clouds. Like, I just can't even begin to tell you the ministering God did to me in that year and a half on that property. Was the testimony I need to share. Is just how personal God is, how much He loves you, how much He sees you, and how much He knows what it will take to heal you. Now, I will preface in saying that I tried. I took my husband back. I brought him into that house. I wanted to start anew in a new place and a new start. just us working things out, you know. I wanted us to work out. I did. I encouraged therapy. He started coming to church with us. I thought this was going to be, you know, a new start and a new beginning for us, and we could have just gotten help and worked through together, but he didn't want to, y'all. And that's what I have to say is you can't stay in a relationship where the other person doesn't want to do the work. Not bashing him again. He's not ready. He's not ready. And I pray for him every day. I know we have our differences and it's hard. But I want to see him healed. I want to see him in a better place in life. I wish the best for him. We're just not meant to be together, and that's okay. And I hold on to God's promise, because God has showed me that the right person, the person that he intended for me, is out there. And I pray for that person. I pray that he's doing the work that I'm doing, that he is sitting with God and letting God heal him from the brokenness of his life, that he is working on himself, that he is just changing, just doing the things like I'm doing, y'all, so that we don't delay our time of crossing path when God says it's time and ready to bring us together. And I know that we will know each other when that time comes. The Bible I was telling y'all about the other day that I showed y'all, and I said I wasn't ready to talk about, I'm gonna talk about it. I had watched a video from someone else doing this, and I just thought it was so amazing. And it was filling out a Bible, reading it, and filling what God gave you and leaving notes in it to your future husband. And so this Bible is dedicated to him, and I write notes on things that I think is important, the parts where it talks about marriage and relationships and couples and things like that. And I pray for him. I pray for him. And I pray for our marriage when the time comes, and the unity and all of it. And am I heartbroken over the loss of my marriage? I was married 21 years with someone for 23 who I thought was my soulmate, and I was wrong. I mourn those days here and there, but I'm not going to let the devil take me back into that, because I know there's more ahead, and I am blessed, and I know that we each had to take our own path, and God showed me that I was being held back from what God had for me, what he wanted for me. And that's why I take this single season very seriously, and I encourage anyone who is single, whether you're divorced or whether you're young and single, don't waste that time. Seek God, ask him what he wants you to do in your single season. Serve him 100% while you have nothing stopping you, no distractions in your way. I encourage you to do that, because when you do get married and you have children, there are things that pull you away from God. There are things that take up your time, and it becomes harder to spend that time with him and to serve him. So while you can, take advantage and spend as much time with God. Get to know who you are with him. Like, that is my biggest thing. I didn't even know who I was. I lost my identity because I identified in my marriage, and I identified with him and what he liked and what he wanted, and I lost myself there. And then when the kids came, it became about them. You know, I lost who I was, and now I'm learning what I like, what I want to do, the things that bring me joy, which is sitting right here on this porch with the birds on the feeder, listening to the rain outside, taking walks, being in nature where I can hear God, because he's like such a soft voice. But when you go out in nature and you unplug from the world and all of these things that just keep us around everywhere in chaos, when you're able to be with him, y'all, you will find peace, you will find joy. It is the little things that become just so magnanimous to you, you know. And that is what I'm saying about it, what God did to me. And now it's a part of my daily life where I value that time, just like he did when I was there. I may not be there. And look, that was another testimony, because when he moved me from that place and I had to move again, I was not a person who liked change. Okay, let's just add this whole into my testimony, is I did not like change. I liked being complacent. I liked the same job, the same routine. And God doesn't call us to that. He had to teach me that he wants us to constantly be looking, you know, being okay with change, because you never know what will happen in your life, right? I didn't expect this to happen, and I didn't expect things to go the way they did. And then it was a hurricane that made me move. There was damage to the house I was in. and I had to move. So God taught me so much in that, and I'll share that with y'all. He taught me to downsize everything, to quit putting everything worldly in the front of him. That it was a lot of stress the 2 times that I moved. Y'all, I didn't even realize how much stuff we owned until I had to move. And I was giving away things left and right and not realizing how much that actually does something to you when you have all this clutter, right? And you have all this mess. It really caused a lot of anxiety. Maybe that was part of my problem. I always had so much to clean, so much to do, so much stuff in the way. So it was really freeing to me in cleansing and of getting rid of things, right? God showing me to get rid of things. And then he was also showing me things that were harmful to me that I needed to throw away and get rid of. And that helped a lot. It was a purging of so many things that God just revealed to me during this last couple of years. And on that property, y'all, like I said, there was so much that God did there for me. I told y'all in the previous video about losing everything I owned. I had no car, y'all, for almost a year. I had to depend on my son, my sister, co-workers to get to work. I became very humble real quick, y'all. I was the one, I told y'all I didn't like to ask for help. I was very independent, very prideful, and that broke me down to a level. Straight humility and having to say, I need help. I can't do this by myself. I don't know what to do. Now, I will say, provision-wise, God provided so much for me in that I did have 1 month that he provided for me to rent a car for an entire month when I first left to get us moved, to get everything that we needed done. And I was so thankful for that month of having a car. And then we had, like I said, we lost a lot of things. We had to get rid of a lot of things. I made a lot of mistakes, y'all, that I have to deal with that I don't want to talk about, but financially. And that God had to teach me a lot in financing and managing money and things like that. And so now I joke, because every store you go into, I just want y'all to know that you go into stores, they always want to offer you credit. Oh, why don't you apply for this credit card? You get 10% off your purchase, you get whatever. But you know, that's where it came from. That's where it starts. It's buying on this credit and believing that you're going to be okay and you're going to be able to pay for it. And then when you lose your job or things happen and you get, you know, the bills, I mean, the interest that they put on these things, y'all, it becomes so much that you can't afford it. You can't handle it. And you become overwhelmed and overhead on it. And the anxiety comes in, the stress, the pressure of trying to handle it all. So God has showed me that I'm not responsible enough. And I joke about it now. When they ask me in the stores, I now started just joking, but seriously saying, my father told me I'm not responsible enough to have one of those. So I'm a no thank you. If I don't have the money to pay for it, I'm not getting it. And I'm living by that. And I'm not going to let the world change that in me and push these things upon me anymore. So I want to encourage y'all, if you living like that and you're stressed out, work towards a program. Our church has a financial group that helps you on paying out debt. They do a lot of biblical stuff, guiding. It's like a ladder step thing to pay it off where you don't even realize you're doing it. It's a good program. Y'all need to invest in stuff to get it paid out, and don't cut them up though. Cut it off. Don't get another one. Don't let the world bully you into getting one. I encourage you to try. If you don't have the money, don't buy it. Then it means you didn't need it, right? Because God's going to provide for your needs. And he showed me that. So that's what I'm trying to show y'all, is God provides what you need, not what you want. Okay. So during that time, COVID hit, y'all. My divorce and everything happened in 2020, right? And I want to show y'all how rocked my world was. I left my husband. I left my family home that we had of 18 years. I'm sorry, in between 16 and 18 years. Lost my car, lost relationship, everything, right? I move into this house and COVID hits and the world gets shut down, except for us who are medical and a few other, some people were able to, but for the most part, the world was shut down, and us medical people were actually in more work, where we were working overtime. We were exhausted. We were working long, brutal hours in these masks and this gear. in this frightening time for the world. And trying not to bring this stuff home to our kids and our families. So as I told y'all, I had no car, had to get to work and work overtime, had to find a way to get there. I had to leave my kids home alone. That was so hard for me, leaving my children home alone when they're not able to be around anybody in the world, and they had to face a lot of alone time. I can't tell y'all what we faced in our life, but I can tell you that without God, I don't think we would have survived it. He carried us through. He brought us joy in some of the scariest times of our life. Like I said, he put us on that water. We had a paddle boat. We had our pirogue and stuff. So when there was nowhere to go, at least we were on the water. We were able to be on the water and in nature right there. We were able to just play and have fun and be kids, hang out, laying in a hammock, you know. So a lot of times, even in your deepest, darkest, you know, there's joy to be found. You just got to look for it. You have to look for the simple things in life. Not be so worldly anymore. Unplug from all the things, you know. There's so much I can say in that, y'all. There was so much testimony. Now, I'm just being honest. Like, so much God did in that, you know. So the point I was making is I had to work extra, right? So remember, I told you I was broke. I lost everything. So now what I want to show you about God is, especially when it comes to providing, people want God to just hand them the blessings, right? Just throw stuff down on you. He doesn't operate that way. He will give you opportunity, means, and wisdom on how to do it, right? Knowledge. So this is how God provided for me. It was, I got to work extra to provide for my family in a time when they were paying extra. So I made all that money to pay back, you know, and to do like what I needed to gain back, right? So God blessed me in abundance with that, with financing to get back on my feet, to get back to where I needed to be. And he, even after all of it and my obedience, because I served him, I was still seeking him during it. I didn't allow the fear of the world. I went in that place and I served the Lord. I was praying with these people, y'all, who were alone. Y'all got to realize they were in hospitals alone. Their family wasn't allowed there. They felt very abandoned and alone and scared, these poor people. So God had me going in, sitting with them at their bedside, praying, trying to give them hope. He even gave us all wisdom in there on how to use our phones and FaceTime their families so that they can at least have some time with human contact, other than us who were, y'all, we were in these mask, gowns, head wrap things. Like, we had these shields on our face. Like, we looked like aliens. They really were so scared of us. We looked like aliens. It was bad for them, traumatized. We were in these white outfits at one point too, y'all. So I can't imagine what it was like for them. So God used me in those moments too. He had me go in and show light and love in a place of darkness. And I'm thankful for that too. He taught me so much in that, y'all. And as hard as that was to watch what we watched, I know that God moved in a lot of that. He pulled families from this busy world and isolated them and secluded so that they had time to grow again as a family, that they had time to sit with each other and stuff like that. And everybody was grumbling and complaining. And I remember sitting there saying, I wish I got to stay home. But you know, I'm not complaining because this is how God's providing for me and what I need. So I'm complaining in a way, but then also blessed and grateful, just like y'all, everyone else was that wasn't allowed to. And I really pray that everybody did take that time and enjoy it with their families, that they got to reconnect and realize that God was giving us a chance. When the devil wants everything to look so bleak and dark, God came in with a light. He gave you a chance to sit home and regroup and rest. And that to me was so beautiful for so many people. And anyway, the point I was saying is, through all of that, like I said, there was a lot of trials in this. This wasn't an easy fate for me. This was a really rough couple of years. But within less than a year, a little bit less than a year, God, through all of that, bought me a car. He provided for me a car. Halloween day, a day that is meant for the Day of the Dead, that honors the devil. And God bought me a car on that day. And that is why I value my car so much, y'all. I mean, I don't know if I told y'all I've been having car trouble and all kind of things. I treasure it. She's a blessing from God. And I didn't care what it was. I was so appreciative at that point to have a car that got me everywhere I needed to, and I didn't have to lean on anybody else anymore. That in itself was so amazing. Y'all, it's little things like that that and that wasn't little, it was actually big to get me a car. That was a big deal, okay? But we take a lot of those things for granted. Those little blessings of not realizing that a car, what it means to you, and we so worried about the fancy car, the nice car, the new car. I was one of those. I had to have all the nicest, newest things, and that's what put me in the situation I was in. So like I said, God had to strip me bare, and he had to teach me that I will give you what you need, not what you want. And now I live by that. I am very minimal on the things that I carry. I give away things. I always was giving, but now I'm even more so. Like, I'm just going to give it to you. It's going to bless somebody. But if it's something that God tells me to actually throw away, I throw it away, because there are some things you don't want to give to someone else and harm them as well. So I throw those away when he tells me to. But I live by letting him guide me in what I need. And if there's something I desire, I make sure it aligns with his will. Like, I ask him, is this something I want or need? Like, he even taught me in stores. Like, I can window shop now. I can walk in a store. I can look at all the things. It brings me joy just to look at it, but I don't have to bring it home. I don't need to buy it. And so a lot of times I'll be in the store, I'll walk with something in my hand, and I'll walk around, because that's what he does with me. At the end, he's like, okay, Roxanne, did you really need that, or do you want to put that back? And then I just put it back. I don't need it. If it's something I don't need, I just put it back. It's a new way of living and learning, and it's something you have to walk through with him. But it's amazing. So I felt like I got a lot that I was able to share with y'all testimony-wise. It may not seem like a lot to y'all, but it was a lot for me, because that was a very rough time in my life. I'm on the upswing of all of that, and God has restored everything that I lost and then some. He has blessed me beyond what I deserve. I don't deserve what he blesses me with, but he does. But he does, because he loves me, and he sees me, and he knows that I'm honoring him and doing what he asks me to do. So just so y'all know, blessings don't always look the way you think they need to look, okay? You need to let him bless you the way he sees fit. And don't look at his material things, okay? It's as simple as a bird flying by when you're in such despair, and you're so sad, and you're so just broken, and he knows it, and he sends a bird to come up and just love on you. Or he sends a sign in the clouds. I can't tell y'all. If I could take pictures and show y'all all the things God has done and shown me in the clouds, it is amazing. And I will give y'all one testimony, and I will share the picture for you to see what he did in the clouds one day on one of my testimonies. But he's just so good. He's just so good, y'all. I just had to share that with y'all on how amazing he is. And I really pray that y'all get to sit with him in moments like this. I know I'm just sharing with y'all, but I can look in the camera and see what's going on behind me. I can see the birds. I can hear them. And that's why I positioned myself this way. I wanted y'all to kind of feel what I feel when I'm like this, sitting. And this is my area where I find peace. And so I hope y'all able to find a space for yourself that you can find that same level of peace and sit with God and let him minister to you and bless you. So I know this ended up being longer than I thought, but I hope this blesses somebody today too. And until next time, we will do another Testimony Tuesday. And y'all have a great one. Bye.